Good morning, everybody. In today's session, we will start with the module 2. And in module 2, we are going to look into the essential Hadoop tools. So, what are the different tools we have? Hadoop Yarn applications, managing Hadoop with Apache Ambari, basic Hadoop administration procedures. So, the first module is, as I told you, for the module 1 and 2 we are referring Hadoop 2 quick start guide by Douglas Edline, and the chapters starting from the like a background, that is the first chapter, and installation recipe second chapter. Then from third chapter, Hadoop distributed file system, each of these topics are one chapter in that particular book. So we have finished chapter 3, 4, 5, 6, 4 chapters. That is the module 1, and module 2 is chapter 7, 8, 9, 10, 4 chapters. All these topics, each of this topic is a part of a chapter. So in together the complete book, the reference book, the first reference book that you have, this one, okay. This reference book, it completely covers the module 1 and 2. Okay, so there is a lot of reading, but it's a very good reading, good understanding about the Hadoop. In module 2 we are going to learn about essential Hadoop tools. In that we will learn about the Apache Pig. Okay, we'll learn what is that tool, what is the use, and also we will have some examples, okay, which we will look into. Some examples we will look. Then we will look into Apache Hive. uh, Apache Hive, what is the use? It is basically, it is on top of the Hadoop. It gives a data warehousing, and how that can be used using some examples. There are some simple examples are there, and some advanced examples are given. We will go through those examples. Then we are going to learn about the Apache Scoop. Okay, Apache Scoop, basically that is used for getting the data from the RDBMS, that is relational database management system, or relational database. Example of a relational database is like your Oracle, SQL, Microsoft SQL Server. If we want to import or export the data, we can do it using the Scoop. And we will see how that import and exports are done using the Scoop. And then Scoop examples we will look into. Then we will use the Apache Flume to acquire data streams. If there are any data streams that needs to be captured and brought into the HDFS, then we can use the Apache Flume. Then we have the Apache Uzi. So Uzi is basically used for the workflow management. Suppose if you want to have any kind of a workflow inside your Hadoop, you can use the Uzi. We will see some examples are also there. Then we will look into the HBase. So HBase is you can correlate it as a database, relational database that is available in Hadoop ecosystem. Then we will see what is the HBase data model overview. Then examples of the HBase. So different, there are many tools that are available in the Hadoop ecosystem. What we are going to go through briefly, these are very brief, and source code is available, as already told you in the appendix section. Author has given the location of the source code. You can download the complete source code, whatever the examples that have been used in this particular book, all the source code is available. Maybe when you are working with those examples, if there is any version related thing, you have to take care of that. Otherwise completely all the source code is available, and it is available as a single zip file. When you do the unzip, you will see all the source code. I will show you. Already I have copied that zip file, and I have the all those source code. I will walk you through that particular source code. So we are going to learn about the essential Hadoop tools, Pig, Hive, then Scoop. We are going to learn about Flume, then Uzi and HBase. Those are the different Hadoop tools we are going to learn. Then in Hadoop Yarn application, we will see the Yarn distributed shell. What is the shell? How we can use it. Then simple examples of using the Yarn distributed shell. Then the structure of the Yarn application we will take a look into. Then Yarn application frameworks we will see. Inside that we will see about the how that shell can be used for running the MapReduce or using the Apache Tez. Apache Tez is a it is a engine optimized engine which will make the query run faster. Whatever the MapReduce program you have, it will run faster. The name is Tej, that is TZ, which is exactly same as a Hindi word. Tej is like speed, making it faster. That we will see. And in managing the Hadoop with Apache Ambari, in that it is like a Ambari I have already shown you. It is a UI from where you can manage the Hadoop ecosystem. So all the things that are available in your Hadoop, we can manage all those resources, name node, data node, bringing them down, restarting, then getting the statistics about each of those nodes, how long they are running, and what is the status, what is the health. Many things can be managed using the Ambari. That's a UI where you will see the dashboard. In the dashboard, it will give a complete overview of your Hadoop cluster. Then similarly, there are services views are there where you can see all the services. Hosts view are there. Admin view is there. Then using all those, you can do a certain amount of administration work, and it also depends on, as I told you, what is the user you are using to log in into the Ambari. If that user has an admin privilege, then you can do the administrative work. If that particular user does not have a admin privilege, then most of the things can be viewed. So administrative work cannot be done with a non-administrative user ID and a password. Then we will see uh, basic Hadoop administration procedure. So here you will see basic Hadoop Yarn administration, then HDFS administration we will see. Then also we will see about the Hadoop version 2 MapReduce compatibility. Those are the different things we are going to see in the module 2. And as I told you, this covers the chapter 7, 8, 9, 10, 4 chapters, module 2. So we'll start with the essential Hadoop tools. As I told you, we are going to learn about Pig, Hive, Scoop, Flume, Uzi, and HBase. So they have given nicely what each tool is used for and how it is used with the example. Pig, Pig is a scripting tool. So it is a scripting tool so that we can run the MapReduce programs. So Pig scripting tool is introduced as a way to quickly examine data both locally and on a Hadoop cluster. So Pig can be run as a local flavor. So those are the different modes it can be run. It can be run as a local, so it will be running as a local on the local machine, or it can be run as on the cluster. So basically it will use that HDFS to run the MapReduce. Then Hive SQL like query tool is explained using two examples. So Hive, I told you, it is a kind of a data warehouse built on top of a Hadoop. And what is a data warehouse? You already know. Data warehouse is it's a storage. Basically, it is used for the storage, and for storing large data, historical data. That is the data warehousing main features of the data warehousing, which normally used for running the analytics. Suppose if you want to run any kind of analytics on top of that data, you will be using the Hive in case of a Hadoop system. Then Scoop RDBM's tool is used to import and export data from MySQL from HDFS. So this basically Scoop is used for importing and exporting data from and to the HDFS system. Just hold on for a second. So Scoop is basically for importing and exporting from any kind of a relational database. Here the example is MySQL. We can use Microsoft SQL Server or Oracle, any kind of a relational database we can use. And Flume is used for the streaming data transport utility. If there is any streaming, then that can be used. That can be implemented using the Flume. The example here given is the weblog data into HDFS, getting the weblog data. Weblog is what? Whenever certain web servers are working, continuously they will be logging information into that log, right? If you want to know the status of the health of the web servers or any kind of information you want to track, you can normally those we mine those logs and we get the information. So we can use the Flume to get that weblog data into HDFS, and on top of that you can run analytics. Then Woozy is a workflow manager used to run basic and complex Hadoop workflows. Then distributed HBase database is used to store and access the any kind of data on the Hadoop cluster. So we are going to see one by one. The first one is the Apache Pig. Apache Pig is a high-level language that enables program to write complex MapReduce transformation using a simple scripting language. Apache Pig is a scripting language, and using which we can write a very complex MapReduce transformation. So any kind of a MapReduce programming can be done using this particular scripting language. Pig Latin defines the set of transformation on data sets, such as simple examples are aggregation. Suppose if you want to aggregate the data or join the data or sort the data, it can be used. Pig is often used to extract, transform, and load. ETL, we call it as a extract, transform, and load. Whenever we are getting a data, so that is a extraction process. And when you are getting a data, suppose you want to do certain kind of a transformation. So one example we will see here, where we have the timestamp in a Unix time that will be converted into a working day. So in terms of a numbers, so that particular transformation, any kind of a transformation. So whenever you are getting a data, suppose another example of a transformation is, suppose you have a date of birth information in certain source data, and when you are extracting that data, you don't want a date of birth, that particular as a date, you want to have it as a age, right? Then you can calculate based on the current date, you can calculate the age, and you can transform that particular date of birth will get transformed into age. So that is another example of a transform. So it depends on the project requirement, what transformations are required. So we will do those transformation and we will load that. Those are called as a ETL, extract, transform, and load. Data pipelines, quick research on raw data, and iterative data processing that we can do. Then, as I told you, Apache Pig has different modes. It can be run in different modes, and those modes can be like either we can run it as a local mode, or we can run it as a map reduce, that is on the cluster. So whether you want to run it on the local or on the cluster, that modes, different modes can be used. These modes execute the job on the cluster using either map reduce engine, either so any mode you choose, either you use it as a local mode, or you use it as a map reduce, interactive, or a Tej mode, any kind of a or batch mode. You can use either map reduce engine, or you can use the highly optimized engine that is called as a Tej. Okay, Tej can be used so that those programs will run quicker. This is the example, big example. The environment that is required for running this particular example is given. Okay, this would be the environment: Linux platform RHEL 6.6, then Hortonworks HDP 2.2, and Hadoop version is 2.6. Then Pig version is this one. We have to check what is the version that we have installed. Okay, so in our example it is 3.0.1, that is the version we have. And if there are any later versions of the Pig, those versions will be part of that particular Hadoop package. So here this is the simple example. Okay, so in the example what we are going to do is Pig is used to extract usernames from the /etc /password file. So in this particular application we are going to extract the usernames that are available in this file, and this file is in the root folder. Okay, inside a root folder there is a etc folder, and inside that I have the password file, and from that file we are going to extract the usernames. A full description of Pig Latin language is beyond the scope of this introduction. So we are not covering the complete usage of the Pig. This is, we are going to just see the one example. So to begin with, first we have to make sure that this particular file is copied onto the this respective directory, and make sure it is available locally. So we are copying the file cp /etc /password. This is the file we are going to copy into the current directory. Wherever you are going to run the Pig, make sure that this file is available there. So if you are not seeing, there is a one dot symbol here. All of us, we know that cp is used for copying, and this is the source file. Source file is in this etc directory, and name of the file is password, and after that space dot, this is the destination. So destination, whenever you say dot, it is going to be the current directory. So in the current directory it is going to copy the password file. Next, copy the data file into HDFS for Hadoop MapReduce operation. Now we have the password file in our local directory. From here, we are going to copy it into the HDFS. So how to do that? We have already seen the HDFS command called put. What put will do? It will copy the local file into the HDFS. So how what is the command? HDFS space DFS space hyphen put. This is the source file. This source file is on current directory in the local system, and it is copied onto the HDFS root with the name as PASSWD. That would be the name. And if you want to check whether that particular file is there or not, we know the command listing. How to use that? HDFS space DFS minus LS. So it will do the listing of that particular file. So we are doing listing, and we are giving the name of the file. We are not checking the complete directory, just we are checking whether that file is there. So this is the file. So we have this file, and this is the permission. Now, the next one is you are going to run the pig. So in the example, this particular example, we are going to run it as a local. It is not going to run on the a cluster. It is going to be run as a in the local machine. Okay, for doing that, how we will issue this particular command? We will say pig space hyphen x space local. So it is going to start the pig tool, and if there are no errors, if everything configuration is perfectly all right, then the pig will start running, and you will get a prompt as grunt. Okay, so you will see this particular prompt as grunt. Means this, when you see this particular prompt, that means your pig is running correctly. And if you see some additional information, that is fine. So to run the pig commands, you can directly run it on the grunt prompt. You can directly issue the script, directly the commands, or if you want, we can also write it as a script. First, we will see just executing it as an instruction, and then we are creating the script for the pig. So you will say A is equal to load password using pig storage and in the bracket colon. So what the meaning of this is, it is going to load the file called as password. You have already copied the password file into HDFS in the previous steps. You have already done that, and it is going to load. Okay, it is going to use the pig storage, and colon is the separator. That is the I will show you the file, this password file. All the information is separated by the a colon. And then B is equal to for each A generate $0 as ID. So it is going to extract the names from this particular variable A, and it is going to do it in a loop until all the records are complete, and it is going to dump into B. So once it dumps into the B, the operation is complete. The processing will start, and list usernames will be printed to the screen. To exit interactive session, enter command quit. So it is going to display all the names, okay, on the screen, and once the display is complete, then you can say quit. Then you will go back to the earlier command prompt where you started the pig. Suppose if you want to use Hadoop MapReduce, then earlier example, what we did was a local. It is going to run on the local machine. It is not going to use the Hadoop cluster. If you want to run that particular pig script as a MapReduce, then you have to say pig space hyphen x space MapReduce. So this is how it will execute. And if you have let us say Tej is installed on your distribution, then you can use pig hyphen x hyphen Tej. So it is going to use the highly optimized Tej engine to execute those MapReduce programming. So pig can also be run as a script. So we have this particular script. The name of the script is given as id.pig. So this is the id.pig. The file extension of a pig script is going to be .pig, that is the extension of the file. The content of the file would be like this. So if you see this program, particular program, same instructions, whatever we did on the command prompt of the grunt, same thing can be included as a part of a script, and the script extension is .pig. So same instruction is there. A is equal to load password using pig storage function, and colon is the separator. Then b is equal to for each, it will extract the username. It's going to dump into b, then store b into id.out. So this will create a directory. So inside that particular directory, it will put all the results. And similar to other language, comments are done using /**, and comments are closed using the asterisk and the // That is one way of using the comments, and other way of using the comments is hyphen hyphen. So this is the way we can provide the comments inside the scripting language. Suppose if you want to see the ensure that all the results are there, you can check the output directory. So in order for you to run this particular script, the best way is, before running the script, first make sure that you delete that folder. If it exists, it will delete. How to do that? We have /bin /rm. Rm is the command used for removing deleting the directory or deleting the file. So here I have rm minus r, recursively it will delete this particular folder, that is id.out. Once we delete this folder, then we are going to execute the pig using pig hyphen x hyphen space local. Then I will provide the script, the name of the script. The name of the script is id.pig. Once it runs successfully, it will create the folder id.out. If the script worked correctly, you should see at least one data file with the results and zero length file with a name underscore success. To run the MapReduce version, use same procedure. Only difference is now reading and writing takes place in the HDFS. So if here it is run as a local, the same can be run using the MapReduce. If you use the MapReduce, it will run on the Hadoop cluster. All the operations is same, only except that if you use the MapReduce, it is going to execute it on the cluster. Here is the HDFS, DFS. Once the execution is complete, then we are going to remove the file. This is if you are not providing any parameters, then it will run on the cluster. So here is the example, pig space, then directly script name. What it will do is, it will directly run on the cluster, okay, as a MapReduce. And if you have the Tej installed, okay, if you have the Tej installed, then you can give this option minus -x space Tej as the option. Then it will use the Tej engine. Now I will show you the source code. Okay, so this is the file. You can see Hadoop to quick underscore start underscore v1.zip. This is I told you the location is given in the appendix section of the book, and you can go to that particular link, and you will find this particular zip file, and this zip file contains all the source code that is used in the textbook. I have extracted this particular zip file. This is the folder. Inside the folder, for each of the chapter, I have the all the source code included. So for this essential tool, I will go to chapter 7 and section Apache Pig. We are going to see the pig first. Okay, you can see I have the password file, which is what we copied. If you see here, if I go back, okay, this is the password file. Okay, all along we use the password file. I will show you the content of that password file. I will open with the Notepad++. You can see here all the usernames are there. Root colon bin colon other information is there. We are not going to extract that information. We are the first word until the colon is nothing but a whatever the information that is user information is available. We are going to extract only that. Then we have, this is the script I talked about, id.pig. This source code we already saw, right? This is the source code. Store b into id.out. So all the results after it extracts the name from the password file, it is going to dump into the b, and after dumping into the b variable, it is going to put it into a this particular directory. In that directory, it will have a, if it is successful, we will have a empty file with underscore success. This is a empty file. Let me open and show you. So you can see underscore success is the empty file. It will be created only if that particular script runs without any error, and this would be the result, part -m and 00000. That is the result file. You can see here, this is the result. If I show you the original file, password file, you can see we have first line root is there, second line bin, third daemon, adm, and so on. If you see the output, root bin daemon adm. So this is the MapReduce program created using the pig. So using this is a very simple example, but using pig, we can create a very complex MapReduce program, and it can be run as a local. It can be run in different modes. It can be run as a local. It can be run on the cluster as well as a. So normally what we do is, when a development is being done, the development will be done and the script will be run as a local with a very small set of a data. Once it is working perfectly fine, then it will be run as a MapReduce. So there is no change from the developer's perspective. Just instead of local, he will be either seeing MapReduce, or if Tej is available, then he will be providing the Tej. Tej is nothing but it is a very optimized engine which runs the MapReduce program very quickly. Next is Apache Hive. Apache Hive is a data warehouse infrastructure built on top of Hadoop for providing data summarization. So data warehouse, I told you, data warehouse is nothing but a data storage meant for a large storage of the data, and it is used for running the some type of a analytics on that, or some kind of a aggregation, summary, that kind of a queries will be run on top of the data warehouse. So this is the Hive is a data warehouse infrastructure that is built on top of the Hadoop. And it is used for data summarization, ad hoc queries, and the analysis of a large data sets using the SQL-like language called HiveQL. So it is a Hive query language. Using Hive query language, we can query the data and we can get the information, and it would be very similar to the SQL that you have already seen if you have worked with any RDBMS. Then whatever the query structural query language you use, similar query you can issue on the Hive. Hive is considered the de facto standard for interactive SQL queries over petabytes of data using Hadoop, and it offers these advantages: following features, tools to enable data extraction, transformation, and loading. So Hive provides tools for extraction, transformation, as well as a loading mechanism to impose structure on variety of data formats. So there is a mechanism where you can impose a structure. When I say imposing a structure, means you are providing a structure to the raw data. If you know that that raw data has a particular structure, that structure can be imposed in case of a Hive. Access to files stored either directly in HDFS or other data storage systems such as HBase. If there is any files that are stored in HDFS or HBase, you can use Hive to query that. query execution via MapReduce and Tej. So here also similar to Pig, the query is executed using the MapReduce, or it can be done using the Tej. Hive provides users who are already familiar with the SQL the capability to query the data Hadoop clusters. Okay, so if you have a knowledge of the SQL, it would be very similar to that. So here is the Hive example. This is the environment that would be required. How to start the Hive? You can use this particular command. So command is Hive. Whenever you say Hive on the command prompt, it will start executing the Hive on top of that, and it will give some kind of informational messages, maybe version, things like that, and you will see a prompt like this. If you see the prompt like that without any error, that means your Hive is up and running. Now for simple test, we can create a table, and also we can drop a table, and all the Hive commands should end with a semicolon. So here is an example. We are creating a table, create space table, name of the table is pokes, and these are the attributes. Foo is an integer, comma, bar, string, and ends with a semicolon. So we are creating a table which has two columns called foo, which is of data type integer, and we have a column called bar, which is a data type of string. So this is called as a Hive QL, that is Hive query language. So this is very similar to our SQL, which you run on top of any kind of a RDBMS. Then once this command is successful, you can see okay, it is showing how much time it has taken to execute that particular command. Then show tables. Once you create another command, show tables, using tables, you can list down all the tables. In this particular case, we have only one table that is created. It will show after okay, it has shown the name of the table, that is pokes, POKES, that is the name we have given. Now if you want to drop this table, the command is drop table and name of the table followed by the semicolon. Okay, now it says okay, means it is executed. What is the time of execution? It will display that. Once it says okay, that means this particular table has been dropped. It is not there in the Hive. Here is the more detailed example. A more detailed example can be developed using a web server log file summarization message types. First, create a table using a following command. So here in this particular example, I told you we are going to read the web server log. Means we have the logs that are created on the web server. We are going to read it for some information to be extracted. For that, first we have to create the table. How to create the table? Use the command on the Hive prompt, create table, name of the table logs, and inside the parenthesis we are going to list all the columns. I have T1, T2, T3, T4, T5, T6, T7 as the different columns, and all of them are of type string, and row format delimited fields terminated by space. So that is the syntax of creating a Hive command. Then okay, that means this particular logs table has been created. Now the logs table has been created. We are going to load the data. This sample dot log, this particular file is available with that download. Okay, I will show you the source code, chapter 7. Then we are looking into Hive. Okay, you can see here sample.log. Let me open. So this is the log file. Okay, so this is a web server log. For example, you can see here there is a timestamp is there. Maybe this is the name of the object which is entering the information into the log, and this is the level of the information that has been copied. Normally we will have this as a info means this is just for the information. fatal means there is something wrong. Okay, this fatal or error should be taken care. And we have debug, we have warn, we have trace, we have error. So error and fatal, those are the things we should be concerned. And just because it's a web log, it will be these messages will be continually logged by all the applications. So for that we are creating a Hive solution, which will get us all the list of what we are doing is what level of error, how many count is there. That is this example is what we are looking into. So that is the sample.log. Load data local in path sample.log. So make sure that you download this particular file and copy onto the directory where you are running this Hive command. Then overwrite into table logs. So logs has 7 columns. This particular data, whatever we saw just now, this particular information will go into those 7 columns. Okay, loading data to table default.logs. This is the name of the table, default.logs. So then once it is complete, it will give the whatever the time taken for execution. Now next, finally apply the select step to the file. Note that invokes a Hadoop MapReduce operation. The results appear at the output. Now next step is we are going to run the query. You can see here, select T4 as sev. This is the alias, that is the severity. So T4. So you can see here T1, T2, T3, T4. This is the information. So either that T4 will have info, fatal, debug, warrant, trace, error. One of the value will be there. So that I am displaying as SCV. As means it is an alias. And count star. We are grouping it by the severity as CNT from logs, where T4 like. So you are giving this as a regular expression, where like means what? That looks like this, means a bracket and a percent. After bracket there is some information. Group by T4. We are going to group by this T4. And after you run, behind the scene it will be submitted as a one MapReduce program. The MapReduce program will start running in the background, so it will display all the information. Once that particular MapReduce program is complete, we are going to see the output. So you can see the output, debug 434, means this debug message, whatever you are seeing in this particular file debug, it has appeared 434 times, error 3 times, fatal 1, info 96 times, and trace 816, warn 4 times. So that is the Hive query. And we have one more advanced example here, more advanced example. This again, the required log files are available in that particular download. The required log file here is this one, this ml-100k.zip. I will show it is available in the same folder. Go to example. So you can see here ml-100k. This is the folder, and inside the folder we have, this is the file we are going to use, data file. You can say u.data. That is the file required for running this particular example. So we are going to download this particular file, unzip that file, and we will move to current directory where we have this particular folder. And also we have a Python program which will be a mapper that we are going to use along with this Hive. Before we use Hive, we will create a short Python program called weekday underscore mapper.py with the following contents. So this is the content of the mapper. I will show that particular mapper. This is the weekday underscore mapper dot py. That is the Python code. I will open with. So this is the code, same code. Imports is date time, and for every line it is getting from the standard input. So in the standard input, what we are going to get, we are going to get this as this particular file u.data. We saw it in here. I will open that u.data. Right click, open with Notepad plus. So this is the data I am going to get, and this data description I will just show you what is the data description. The data description, what we have is a user ID. This particular file is having some kind of a rating information, means for the each movie, for each user they have given some kind of a rating. The first information is the user ID, second information is the movie ID, and third information is the rating. This third one is, you can see 1 2 3 4 5. So this is the rating, and last one is the time. This, but it is a Unix time. And using the transformation, that is the mapper that is written in the Python, we are going to convert this Unix time into a regular weekday in terms of 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. That is the transformation we are going to apply. So that transformation, you can see it in this particular code. So it is going to read that u.data, user data, line is equal to line dot strip. It will strip all the white spaces on both the sides. Then user ID comma movie ID comma rating, Unix time, line dot split. Okay, split using the a tab. So if you see this particular file, these are separated by the tab. So suppose if you take the example, first line, when it reads the first line, user ID will have 196, then movie ID will be 242, this rating would be 3, and this is the Unix time. Then we need, instead of a Unix time, we will transform into a weekday. That is how it is done using this particular library, that is datetime, datetime dot from timestamp. This is, we are calling this method ISO weekday. So it will get the weekday, and that weekday will be stored in this variable weekday. Then we are going to print. What we are going to print? We are going to print a tab. After that, concatenation of user ID, movie ID, rating, and the weekday. So this would be one of the number between 1 and 7. Okay, so that is the program, mapper program. Then we will create the table. Okay, next start Hive. I will take a couple more minutes and we will complete this. We are going to create a table u underscore data. How to do that? In Hive prompt, we are going to issue this command, create table u underscore data. What are the information we need? User ID, movie ID, rating, and Unix time. So it is a string, others are in number. Then this is separated by tab. You can see this is the tab. And then what we are going to do is, first we are going to load the file. Whatever the file you are seeing, this u dot data, this file will be loaded into this table u underscore data. This table is inside the Hive. So load data local in path. This is the file. Okay, it is in the local directory u dot data, and overwrite into table u underscore data. This is a Hive table. Once you have the Hive table loaded with the information that is available in the file, then you will say select count star from u underscore data. So whatever is the number of records that are present in that particular file. Here this is an example of a 100,000, right? So there are 100,000 records. I will just show you. I will go to the end of the file so that you will know there are. Okay, you can see here we have 100,000 records. You can see here 100,000 records. All those 100,000 records are loaded. So because it is showing select count star from u underscore data, it is showing all the records. Once you have that information, next you are going to create another table where we will have the new data stored. Create a table u underscore data underscore new. All this information is same. Okay, user id, movie id, rating is same. Instead of Unix time, we are going to have a weekday, and it is integer. It's going to be a number between 1 to 7. And this is how we are going to first, that is the new table that we created. The next command, we will attach the mapper. How to do that? Add file weekday underscore mapper dot py Python script. We will give it as a mapper. Then insert override table u underscore data new. Select transform user id, movie id, rating, Unix time. So this will be given to the mapper. Okay, using Python weekday underscore mapper dot py as user id, movie id, rating, weekday. So it will get this data, and where it is getting from u underscore data. This is the original file, right? Original table where we have the Unix time. It is going to get that. It is going to give it to the mapper for the transformation, and the transformed data will be stored in this particular new table u underscore data underscore new. And I will show you the output. After behind the screen, it will run as a MapReduce program, and once it is complete, you can see select weekday comma count star from u underscore data underscore new group by weekday. So they are just grouping by the weekday. You can see the output. So Monday there are 13,278 records, Tuesday, and so on. This is how you are going to get the output. And once your work is complete, what you are going to do is you are going to drop the table. How to do that? Hive hyphen e, then you will give the command in single quotes, drop space table space u underscore data underscore new. Similarly, you are going to drop the u underscore data table. So both the tables will be dropped.